To the men who randomly stop texting a girl after you used to talk to her all day, every day, why'd you stop? I was always the one who was initiating conversations. I stopped initiating the conversations to see if she would, and she never did, so I figure she just didn't care about me, so I should just stop trying. I've had the same. A silver lining was that I realized how rarely people think about others, which really helped me be more outgoing and come out of my shell. I tried this after a third date and just never spoke to the guy again. Is that ghosting? And should I feel bad? Ghosting is a no response or late response to all communication. Especially when you talk, then what are you up to tonight gets no response. Usually because they don't do anything to keep the conversation going. I shouldn't be the only one asking questions, etc. One word replies, lack of interest in asking/answering questions, or just flat out having nothing interesting to say. Nothing kills a conversation boner quicker. Edit. Some people who replied have to realize that my post was a bit ambiguous on purpose. There was no specific reason for the examples. Some individuals are just terrible conversationalists, and that is the reason I stopped talking to them. It began to feel like a chore. She didn't seem interested in me like she used to. I began to feel like texting her wasn't worth my time. I decided I would respond to any text she sent, but I would completely stop initiating conversation/questions, in part, just so I could see what would happen, because it felt like I was doing it all. Haven't had a response since, and the above statements became more true than I wished. That chore bit hit home. With one girl I realized one day that I could no longer remember why I'd been interested in her. It had become sort of a habit. I'd contact her, she'd somehow kill the conversation, or I'd have to do all the work. Happened gradually, didn't notice at first. And then came that day when the thought just popped into my head, why are you making this effort? Why are you interested in this girl? And I couldn't for the life of me find a decent answer. There'd definitely been a spark originally, but it had faded so gradually I hadn't noticed it go. I've learned to just not bother with women like that. If the first couple of messages amount to hey I lol haha good nothing lol, it's clear to me what she's expecting. For me to lead her around by the nose and give chase when she wants it. I'm just not interested in that kind of a relationship anymore. I want to connect with someone mutually. Is that so hard? Edit. I'm hearing she's just not interested a lot, so I should add that the supposed context here is something like Tinder or OKC, when we both like each other, which is the only time I really reach out to women on dating sites. So there is some kind of mutual interest. If someone's not interested, fine, no problem, I can take a hint, but this is literally right after a mutual interest is established. I'll only stop texting if they stop taking interest. E.g one word answers or hetero MG emoji, you can tell they are having a better conversation with someone else. I did this for a year to a girl I like, but stopped because our conversation has gotten stale and it always circled around her and the shit that she likes to talk about. However, when it's my turn to talk about myself and the shit that I like to talk about, not only would the enthusiasm drop, it would be followed by one word replies. Not about that life, man. Pretty much the same for me. She called or texted with the same shit every day, about work or friends or some new cosmetic products she wants to try. I'm okay with that, but the moment I try to change the subject she'd get angry, saying things like, yeah, but why are you telling me that? Or I don't care baby. Duck that kind of woman. I don't need to pursue a relationship that's all about her dumb bullshit. I would hit her with the exact same responses. But I have the emotional complexity of a 7-year-old, so I can't speak as to whether or not it would fixed anything. I'm initiating large amounts of conversation because I want to get to know you better than I know other just friends. I'm also gauging your interest in me. If you text me out of the blue and or reply within 30 seconds of receiving my texts, that's a good indication you like me. If you put forth zero effort, I won't spend nearly as much time on you. You may as well ask guys that started taking girls out to ice cream every so often. Why'd you stop? Because she'd just eat her ice cream, staring away from you, answering your questions with 1 or 2 words. Does that sound crazy? I want ice cream now. Sigh, so do I. Sigh, want to go get ice cream? Sure. She was only interested in talking about herself. Not even interesting things about herself. Just how much she hated her job and how much school stressed her out. She probably had no idea she was being so dull. Like 80% of my life is my job and school. After a while I don't have anything else to talk about. I think the key is talking about it without always complaining. Talking about work and school is interesting. It's how most of us spend our time. But you have to share stories people are actually interested in hearing. Wow, so John sent out this memo saying X, and Cheryl went 2 hours because Y. So this customer spilled her Sierra Mist all over her 5-year-old. I gave her an extra Happy Meal toy. Actual events. So in class today my professor brought up their debate, which I found really interesting. Blah blah blah. What's your take on it? The thing that really makes someone dull is a constant loop of, work is so stressful. I'm in class all the time. I'm so tired. While sometimes in a relationship it's a relief to talk about these things, it's really hard on another person to constantly be your emotional dumping ground. Even talking about specific situations and why they caused stress is better than the blanket statements. Talking about school and work is great, constant complaining is not. It's not random if there's a reason. If it's all day every day, he probably found a girlfriend who wouldn't string him along. Friends, like regular friends, often won't even chat exclusively daily, let alone all day daily. Most of my friends I chat with on our own Discord as a group. No private messages, except maybe one of them once a week. The only person you tend to talk to all day daily would be a direct co-worker, your boss, perhaps a repeat client/customer or sales rep, and your significant other. If a single man is talking to a single woman all day daily and they aren't trying to sell something to each other and aren't employed together, it's because he wants her to be his significant other. If it becomes clear she isn't, time has value, opportunity cost, if nothing else. He cannot text someone all day every day just for their own amusement if he's courting a different woman and requires texting them that amount of time dedication. Doing 2 things all day every day is much more time intensive than doing 1 thing all day every day. Additionally, some women will put restrictions on communications of their man. Add that to not communicate at all, let alone all day every day. While that's blatantly emotionally abusive, it's nonetheless accepted in our society. Or, he could have died. People do that at random quite often. 1 every 1.2 seconds or so, last I checked. Check the local bits. Or it's because they're looking, and you're a good enough stand-in, until they find someone they actually like. Note, this applies to women too. Honestly, she stopped caring about our friendship. I have no problems being friends with girls, but I can't always be hitting you up. Shows how much you really value me as a person and care. And since she didn't, life has been better. For guys, texting is playing catch. I expect the other to throw the ball back in an equal but opposite capacity. If I'm playing catch with someone and they consistently turn the other direction and throw it into the woods, or call their girlfriends once they have it and run away, I'm gonna find someone else to play catch with. Started getting too attached when I was not getting the same feelings back. Easier to cut it off than to just ignore it. One was because I was tired of being the one to always initiate conversation. I figured if she didn't care enough to start the conversation every now and then, she wasn't worth my time. Another was because I wanted to date her, but I guess she wasn't interested, so I dropped her. I have enough friends, so why invest energy into someone if I want more than friendship but they don't? A great many women's online profiles read like a list of do and don't followed by where's all the good guys. Invariably when I get a message from a woman it's hi. They seem to get annoyed with guys messaging in this way, but hi and now I have to make conversation with you? Not even good weekend or their name, and where they're from just hi. 95% of messages from women like that. Tired of getting strung along. Tired of being used for attention. Tired of putting all the effort into the conversation. I can tell you're texting another guy because you can't remember what we are talking about ever. You're probably boring. Talking to a girl who's 100% not interested is just a long drawn out rejection. Got busy. No longer interested. She was becoming offensive. Started seeing someone else. This. Had a nice almost daily conversation GG with a pretty classmate. Began to realize she was arrogant. And when she put me down while praising herself, I stopped replying.